Mr. McNeil tortured his family.
I need to report the violation of a court order.
What did he do to your mom in the basement?
You will burn in hell for this.
Is this the part where I'm supposed to get scared and start crying?
Close to home. Premiere CBS Tuesday, October 4th.
Overwhelmed by Katrina, the government steps in, but will aid come soon enough? Continuing coverage tonight on the CBS Evening News with Bob Schieffer. Experience you can trust.
I'm Hannah Storm. Tomorrow, the tragedy along the Gulf Coast. Now, what happens to those poor children in the hurricane zone? A look at what lies ahead for these kids. And you'll see what's going on inside the house on tonight's Big Brother, but what you won't see are some secret scenes. We'll have those for you tomorrow on The Early Show.
A Wall Street superstar murdered in the Hamptons. Money, betrayal, bizarre case you have no idea. A 48 Hours mystery Saturday.
Straight ahead on CBS 4 News at noon, gunshots ring out during the evacuation of the Superdome.
The situation in Mississippi is still desperate as search and rescuers go door to door.
Federal help is on the way to the Gulf Coast as President Bush plans to get his first-hand look at the devastation.
CBS 4 and Neighbors for Neighbors are here to help out, and you can too.
The price of gasoline is soaring again, more than $3 a gallon in South Florida and nearly $6 a gallon in Atlanta. Keep it right here for all-out team coverage in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. Good afternoon, South Florida. I'm Susan Barnett in for Joy Purdy.
And I'm Elliot Rodriguez. CBS 4 News at noon starts right now.
Now, live, this is CBS 4 News at noon.
First at noon, shots fired at military helicopters outside the Louisiana Superdome while trying to transfer hurricane victims to the Astrodome. All ambulance service airlifts are now suspended.
The ground evacuation, though, is still on despite the difficult circumstances surrounding the Superdome.
CBS 4's Brian Andrews, the only South Florida TV reporter in New Orleans, filed this report just moments ago.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, it's coming up midday here in New Orleans. We've got lots of people who are making their way either to the convention center or the Superdome, carrying whatever they have, trying to head out of town. We have just been given direct orders by CBS News to get out of here. So let me finish up my report, and then we're actually moving to a safer location. There's some concern about some rioting and some really dangerous stuff heading this way with some very angry people. So let me take you to some videotape real quick, show you what's happening in the Superdome, where the evacuation to the Astrodome was temporarily put on hold as people were firing gunshots into the air. Apparently they were also firing at a rescue and a relief helicopter. They've lit trash fires and people have been getting into fistfights. It's been a real mess over there. They're all heading to the Louisiana Superdome. I'm sorry, not the Louisiana Superdome, but rather the Houston Astrodome, which is in a much better situation. There's electricity there, there's running water there, there are bathrooms, just a much better situation. We have some aerial video that we can show you of the widespread devastation. The flooding is still just a huge problem right here in New Orleans. There are still boats that are out trying to rescue people, but it would appear the headline this midday is the dangerous situation with an unsettled crowd. People are angry, people are at their wits' end, and I'm just now being told the decision has been made by CBS News to break down the satellite truck and get to a safer location because we're just not sure how much longer we can guarantee our safety here in the downtown area. That'll do it for now. Reporting from Canal Street, I'm Brian Andrews along with photographer Kevin Martels on CBS 4.
Well, CBS 4 meteorologist David Bernard just moved to South Florida about a month ago from New Orleans.
That's right. David headed back to his former home to look at the devastation firsthand. He is now in New Orleans and joins us on the phone. David, exactly where are you and how are you doing right now?
In suburban New Orleans, and the part that we're in now did not take storm surge. However, there is, and I'm about 10 miles west of Brian Andrews' downtown New Orleans. I mean, it is well over, which is the run along the Mississippi River. And, I mean, houses are flattened, trees are down everywhere. I mean, this is, you know, areas that I drove all the time for 8 years, and it's not recognizable. We were in Baton Rouge this morning. They're having riots in Baton Rouge now because they're having unrest at one of the there down south. I mean, we're looking at a breakdown of society, and the military under the picture, but probably it's going to be another 48 to 72 hours before I imagine the situation is stabilized. And I've expressed the same thing this morning and last night. I'm around by the hundreds of thousands and, people that I know that have nothing. And, I mean, we're just looking at the greatest natural calamity in the history of the United States. I just don't even think some people from New Orleans that have called me from out of town, I don't think they even understand the ramifications of this yet. They don't have any perspective.
So, David, as a meteorologist, obviously you understood the true potential that Hurricane Katrina had. Now that you can see this for yourself, would you say that this is much worse than you thought that it could have been?
Well, the one thing that I thought would be bad and came to pass is I knew there would be a tremendous storm surge into the eastern half of the city and into St. Bernard Parish. That's heard about that first levee break. I knew from computer modeling and also in Slidell, Louisiana, I knew there would be tremendous storm surge there. What was not anticipated is that after the storm, one of the big levees in the heart of downtown would fail. And that's why you ended up with all this water in downtown and greater New Orleans and not just in the eastern suburbs. Based on what occurred, we did not think that would happen. But that levee breach is what changed everything. And, this was 80% of the worst-case scenario. Where I'm standing now is dry. If the storm had been a little further west, this would have been underwater as well. It's as close to the worst possible thing that could have happened. It did. And for all intents and purposes, to the central business district, the main economic heart of the city is in ruins right now.
Okay, David Bernard, thank you very much for joining us on the phone. You heard Brian Andrews say that he's moving because of concerns about safety. We ask you, please, to be very careful, and we look forward to your reports on CBS 4 News starting at 5 o'clock. All right, officials in Mississippi say the full magnitude of the disaster will not be clear for days, if not longer. Emergency teams are now concentrating on reaching people who may still be trapped. CBS 4's Yusila Ramirez has been gathering the latest pictures out of Mississippi. She joins us now live with the latest. Yusila?
Well, Elliot, there are so many places that are hard to reach along the Mississippi coast. It's a race against time. In some cases, crews have had to leave bodies behind and concentrate on saving those people trapped in flooded and crumbled buildings. In the meantime, desperation is setting in among those who are scrambling to get food and water.
Search and rescue teams are trying to make their way through this mess as they continue looking for any survivors. Meanwhile, those who managed to get out are now struggling to survive the aftermath. In Biloxi, hundreds desperately looking to get their hands on food and water stood outside this Walmart for hours in a line that snaked around to the back of the store.
We're thinking each day, one day we'll stand in line for gas, maybe one day for the water, one day for the ice. There's a line for everything.
Take a look at how the basic necessities were handed out at this store. The only way to get the food out was by sliding it through a muddy hole in the door. As many try to get some relief wherever and however they can, the governor of Mississippi tries to reassure the desperate that help is on the way, but he says there's just overwhelming devastation everywhere.
This calamity overwhelmed the system. It's just as simple as that. And we're making a little progress every day. And we're going to keep making a little progress every day. We turned some corners yesterday. The problem is there's just a bunch of more corners.
In Gulfport, rescue crews have the daunting task of going house to house looking for survivors and in some cases finding victims in the piles of debris.
I lost my car. We lost our home. We have nowhere to go. People jump in. Nowhere.
And even though there's still a long way to go in this grueling mission, it's already taking its toll on those trying to help.
It's one of those disasters I think you could really only say it's biblical proportions.
And if there was ever any proof that Mother Nature doesn't discriminate, in Pascagoula, Mississippi, U.S. Senator Trent Lott found out his 154-year-old oceanfront home was ripped to shreds by Katrina's storm surge. Just more evidence that no one was spared.
Now, the governor also saying this afternoon that they got electrical power back to the state's pipelines. Now, tankers can get to the refineries and pick up fuel, and that will hopefully help in the relief efforts. That's the latest. Yusila Ramirez, CBS 4 News.
A marine life park in Fort Walton Beach is accommodating some Hurricane Katrina evacuees. Marine officials say 6 bottlenose dolphins were brought to the Gulfarium after being evacuated from the Marine Life Park in Gulfport, Mississippi yesterday. The dolphins were delivered in 2 moving trucks where they will remain for the time being. Also, 9 sea lions were taken to Orlando's SeaWorld. Bulldozing and cleanup has begun on the north shore of Lake Pontchartrain in New Orleans. Entire neighborhoods there were reduced to rubble. The mayor says it will be 2 or 3 months before the city is functioning again and that people will not be allowed back into their homes for at least a month or 2.
Meantime, the White House is confirming that President Bush has asked his father, former President George H.W. Bush, and former President Bill Clinton to lead a private fundraising campaign to help victims of Hurricane Katrina. CBS 4's Stacey Case has the latest on that from Washington. Stacey?
Calling it the most massive relief effort in American history, President Bush has ordered 10,000 more National Guard troops to the Gulf region. That brings the total to 28,000 men and women who will help restore order and continue rescue and relief efforts. More than 5 million meals ready to eat and more than 13 million liters of water are being trucked and shipped in. The Pentagon is prepared to send up to 8 Navy ships, including 1 floating hospital, and more than 1,000 search and rescue teams. The president is meeting later today with his father and President Clinton to organize an international relief campaign. Homeland Security Secretary Michael Chertoff, who's overseeing the multi-pronged federal effort, says the people of the Gulf need help from all Americans as well.
That includes volunteering time, it includes making donations, it includes opening your hearts in your communities to people who are going to be coming from far away, looking for a place to live, maybe for a considerable period of time.
President Bush flew over the area on his way back from Texas yesterday. He plans to visit the region Friday. Stacey Case, CBS News, Washington.
Our team coverage moves now to South Florida, where some here are trying to help hurricane victims. CBS 4's Jason Wheeler is live in Biscayne Park with more for us. Jason.
Yeah, Susan, as the damage and the casualties continue to pile up, so do the relief supplies, like the ones sitting here in this North Miami warehouse, still waiting to be sent to people who are desperately waiting for the help. With thousands of people hungry and homeless along the northern Gulf Coast, there is a massive effort underway to help. This North Miami warehouse now houses at least 3 truckloads of desperately needed supplies.
Over here is brand new Armed Force blankets. There's 20,000 of them. And if you look around the room, you can find everything from evaporated milk, powdered milk, canned vegetables, meat, canned meat.
Problem is, it's all stacked up with nowhere to go. Relief organizations like Stop Hunger are finding that as they reach out a helping hand, there is no hand on the receiving end. The region that was so unprepared for the devastation of wind and water, apparently just as unprepared for the inundation of assistance right now.
Absolutely. It's frustrating because the people up there need it. We've been through this with Andrew. And with them not getting the food or the other items that they need, it's just your heart's got to go pour out for them.
Now, considering how hard it is to ship things right now, the donation of preference right now is money, of course. And you can get involved. You can donate money to help out in the relief effort. You're looking at a live picture now back at our studios in Doral. Neighbors for Neighbors set up, answering the phones, ready to take your donations. The phone number 305-597-4404. They are experts at this sort of thing. Your money will get to the places that it needs to go the most. You can also log on to our website for tips on how you can get involved here. The website address, cbs4news.com. Live in North Miami, Jason Wheeler, CBS 4 News.
And more help is on the way from South Florida. Coast Guard crews in Key West are now heading to the Gulf Coast to help in relief efforts. A ship packed with emergency supplies left for the hurricane-ravaged region this morning. Officials say some of the supplies were donated by residents of the Florida Keys. Coast Guard crews will stay in the hardest-hit areas and will help with whatever is needed to help out the victims.
And the Coast Guard Air Station in Miami has been participating in those dramatic air rescues we've been showing you over the past few days in the hurricane strike zone. Captain Keith Taylor says the Miami Air Station is one of many from around the country that has been deployed to help with the Katrina rescue effort.
We currently have 25 people from Air Station Miami here in Opelika deployed to the theater, as well as 2 of our HH-65 Dauphine helicopters. They've been over there for several days. They were part of a contingency that was pre-planned in advance of the storm to respond as quickly as possible after the storm to begin the assessment and, in this case, begin the massive rescue operation that is currently ongoing.
And Captain Taylor says that members of the Coast Guard Air Station are not only trained to rescue people, but also to help in the recovery effort that will follow.
The U.S. will not be pulling troops out of Iraq or Afghanistan to help with disaster relief. Military officials say they are exploring ways to bring troops home to deal with individual family needs without altering the balance of forces in the war zones.
And it is one of the things that everyone is talking about, skyrocketing gas prices across the country. CBS 4's Tina Verona is live in Doral with more on that part of the story. Tina.
Well, Susan, I can tell you, not a lot of happy campers at the gas pumps today. It seems as though the surge in gas prices are draining everyone's wallet. Now, we've been at this Shell station in Doral for a little over an hour now, and already we've seen the regular price of gas go up 4 cents and premium go up by 2 cents. Just starting up your car takes gas, and gas takes money. Nowadays, lots of it.
I filled my tank up with gas. It's a 25-gallon tank. I put 15 gallons. I paid $45 for regular gasoline.
And you were at half a tank?
I was at a half a tank.
Hurricane Katrina has swamped the Gulf Coast fuel industry, sending gas prices in Atlanta soaring to over $5 and waging an assault on the nation's fuel supply chain. For now, Florida seems to have enough fuel to meet the demand, only if panic buying and supply disruptions stay down. Unfortunately, the price of gas won't. Since Monday, the average gallon of regular gas rose to $2.81, and it's literally going up as we speak. Gas at this Doral Shell went up 4 cents right before our camera. Regular gas now stands at $2.95 a gallon.
It's probably around $40. I mean, $3 a gallon, 20 gallons, 60 bucks. I haven't even looked at the pump. I don't want to.
When it comes to the rising cost of gas, Maria Bermudez is forced to sweat it out.
Before I used my air conditioner, I had to turn it off a little bit because you have to save in gas, you know, because every 5 days, every week, I had to fill it out for $40.
Now, since we've been here, we've seen a lot of folks topping off their gas tanks in fear of a shortage. Now, just behind that gentleman in the white shirt with his tie on, those gas pumps right behind him are now bone dry of premium gas. We're live in Doral. Tina Verona, CBS 4 News.
Well, as we deal from the bad news of the aftermath of Katrina, the tropics continue to heat up. Your weather station is tracking it all for you, including just formed Tropical Depression 14.
CBS 4 meteorologist Elizabeth Hart live in weather control with the latest on that. Elizabeth.
Well, good afternoon, and it was a little before 11 a.m. this morning when we had our newest storm. Yesterday at this time, Tropical Depression number 13 had just formed, and that eventually developed into Tropical Storm Lee, which is now dying out. But on to the news of the day. And this is Tropical Depression number 14, located about 1,100 miles east of the northern Leeward Islands. You will notice that in the past 12 hours, the thunderstorm activity has become much more concentrated around the center of circulation. For the time being, there's an upper level low to the south and west of this, and it is providing some wind shear, meaning that in the very high upper levels, the tops of the thunderstorms are getting blown off. So for the time being, it is allowing it to not strengthen as much as it would otherwise. Here's what it looks like on the visible satellite. These are the daytime pictures, and you'll definitely notice the swirl here. And we do think that Tropical Depression number 14 is going to become better organized. Slow strengthening is forecast over the next couple of days, and then if this does become a tropical storm, it will be Maria. So here's the latest: 11-15 miles east of the Leeward Islands, winds at 35 miles per hour, so just below tropical storm force now. As I show you the future track with the motion up to the west-northwest at 16, this is what we think will be happening over the next several days. There will be a trough over the eastern U.S., and that should help steer Tropical Depression number 14 out into the open Atlantic. So good news on that front. There's another wave, though, that we need to talk about. Details on that in a bit.
Thanks, Elizabeth. And be sure to tune in to our special Hurricane 2005 in the path of Hurricane Katrina. Our one-hour special, anchored by Brian Norcross, will air Saturday night at 7 o'clock and will repeat on our sister station, UPN 33, Sunday at 1 p.m.
And we do have some breaking developments on the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. All CBS 4 news crews and CBS news crews have been ordered to go to Kenner, Louisiana, just outside the city of New Orleans, after reports of dangerous conditions there, potential rioting, shooting, and potentially people there setting fires. So our crews are going to be heading over to Kenner, Louisiana. They are still going to bring you all the latest, though, from New Orleans and the Gulf Coast.
Our local hospital is sending relief supplies to the Gulf Coast, but may be coming back with even more precious cargo.
And remember, if you would like to help the victims of Hurricane Katrina, just call Neighbors for Neighbors. That number is 305-597-4404. We will be right back.
If you dream of furnishing your home with the best, but think it's out of your price range, you haven't been to Behr's. Now get extra savings on the stuff that dreams are made of at Behr's incredible Labor Day weekend sale. Up to 50% savings on every item in our showroom. All the styles you want at prices you have to see to believe. No interest 1 year, 24-hour delivery. Pinch yourself, you're not dreaming. Behr's Labor Day weekend sale. Beyond the ordinary. Don't miss it.
Hi, I'm attorney Robert J. Fensterchild. People have been telling me their legal problems for over 25 years. That's why I created my website, tellrobert.com. When you log on, you can fill out a free legal evaluation or download a free copy of the latest living will. Injured? Tell Robert. Car accident? Tell Robert. Hurt by prescription drugs? Tell Robert. Please visit me at tellrobert.com or call me at 1-800-LAWMAN8.
If you see news in the making, dial star CBS 4 on your T-Mobile cellular phone.
Miami Children's Hospital is helping the victims of Hurricane Katrina, sending a jet to evacuate children from hospitals in New Orleans.
CBS 4's Nefertiti Jaquez is live in Opelika with the story for us. Nef?
Well, Elliot, Susan, Miami Children's Hospital answering a desperate call for help. A short time ago, they had a Learjet full of supplies fly out to New Orleans from the Opelika airport. But they're not just bringing supplies. The hospital staff plans on evacuating the children to neighboring hospitals in Texas and here. So for at least a while, they may be calling Miami their new home.
This is my crew, but I'm very proud of them.
Today marks day 2 for the Miami Children's Hospital Life Flight crew as they prepared another huge relief supply this morning for those in desperation.
This is not this powder. We don't need it.
The initial mission right now is to try to evacuate any pediatric patient that has been stuck over there.
I went through Andrew, and I remember we got a lot of help, and I thought, this was a perfect opportunity to do the same thing.
Because the victims of Hurricane Katrina are in critical need of medical attention, and the hospital these children are in is in the middle of the devastation.
What do you think you're going to see when you get there?
Mostly, I think more than anything, desperation, because I know how desperate we were when we didn't have any water supplies, electricity.
So the mission to fly out all of this food, the blankets, water, baby formula, and much more to the affected areas is crucial. And the 2 nurses, 2 pilots, and sole paramedics say they're ready and willing.
Very moved that we can be of help to such a devastated area at this thing.
Just give back, because a lot of other communities came to us and helped us out.
And their efforts don't stop here. The Life Flight crew is sending yet another plane full of supplies later on this afternoon. Live from the Opelika Airport, Nefertiti Jaquez, CBS 4 News.
Coming up next on CBS 4 News at noon, we will have more on Tropical Depression number 14 and your local forecast.
And we continue to follow developing news out of New Orleans. CBS 4 News and CBS News are pulling our crews out of New Orleans due to dangerous conditions, reports of riots, shots being fired, and fires as conditions deteriorate. They're moving to Kenner, Louisiana. So, of course, we'll continue covering the story for you, and we'll have much more from there tonight on CBS 4 News at 5. We'll be right back.
AvMed Medicare Preferred is the affordable way to get quality health care.
AvMed is not for profit, so it's not like we're trying to get money for our stockholders or anything like that. That's not what our goal is. We want to make sure that we can give back to our members as much as possible.
Get answers when you want them 24/7.
Our nurses are registered nurses, so they have the medical background so they can speak to you in medical terms.
If you need anything extra or you need anybody to assist you, we're just a phone call away.
We make it fast and easy to see a specialist.
Now, if you need a referral, no more paper. You get the name of the physician, you call and get an appointment.
We go that extra mile for our members.
Call 1-888-642-0368 for more information about AvMed Medicare Preferred and get your free government guide to Medicare's new coverage.
AvMed, it's more than what we do.
It's the way we do it. Putting our customers first.
How would you like to be an advocate for children? Hello, I'm CBS 4's Maggie Rodriguez. Did you know there are more than 5,000 children in foster care or protective services in Miami-Dade alone? Guardian Ad Litem needs you to speak up for them in court proceedings. Call 305-597-4404 to find out how to become a Guardian Ad Litem volunteer. They will give you the training you need, and your participation can make all the difference.
Underwritten by Bank United and Herbert Hoover Foundation.
Closed captioning sponsored by City Furniture, now offering same-day delivery 7 days a week.
Welcome back to CBS 4 News at Noon. We will bring you the very latest on Tropical Depression number 14 in just a couple of moments, but I wanted to show you some showers up on the north end of Broward County. Traveling 95 US 1 up from Deerfield Beach into Palm Beach County. You are going to run into some wet pavement there, and that's kind of a preface, if you will, for what's to come the rest of the afternoon. We will see some storms breaking out. We're on to the first day of September. I want to take you back to August for a moment because there were a couple of notable things that happened. Of course, Hurricane Katrina rolled through here before bearing onto the Gulf Coast and dropped some significant rainfall. When you look at these totals, much of it was actually achieved in just the last few days of the month. Prior to Katrina, we were actually running below normal precip wise, so we ended up a little better than ½ an inch above normal, and the average temperature was about 1.5 degrees above normal. Key West actually had the second warmest August on record. Now, on to the tropics. Okay, well, yesterday we saw Tropical Storm Lee come alive. That's way up here in the Atlantic, and losing strength, losing its tropical characteristics. What we will be watching certainly is Tropical Depression number 14 and a very vigorous wave that is well to the east of that, both of which have the potential for additional development. So we could, in fact, see Tropical Depression number 15 popping up later today or tomorrow. And if either one of those storms becomes a tropical storm, it will be Maria and Nate, respectively. We'll keep you posted. Sun at times, a few heavy downpours will top out near 92. These storms will be slow moving, so we could in fact have some problems with flooding through the afternoon, and then a few storms into the evening. 84 your low. A look ahead to your holiday weekend. Sun and clouds on Friday, and then storms likely Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Have a good one.
And CBS 4 News at Noon. We'll be right back.
Back in a moment.
Avoid the deadly days of summer. Don't drink and drive. Designate a sober driver. This message is furnished by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, proud sponsors of Dolphins preseason football on CBS 4.
Sell your house in 24 hours. Call 1-800-NO-AGENT. Do no repairs. Pay no commissions. Call 1-800-NO-AGENT. Get an offer on your house now. Call 1-800-NO-AGENT. Have your cake and eat it too. Call 1-800-NO-AGENT.
Attention! If you're a Medicare-eligible resident in the Miami area, here's some important news you should know. Humana is announcing a new Silver Sneakers Fitness program, now available for Humana Medicare members. You'll receive a free fitness center membership, group exercise and fitness classes, and personalized service from a senior advisor, all for no additional cost. So call for this free booklet, A Shopper's Guide to Medicare Choices, at 1-800-842-8007. You also get your choice of many doctors, emergency coverage when you travel, and prescription drug coverage that allows you to carry over your unused dollar amounts from one month to the next. You get all this and much more for no plan premium. If your plan doesn't include these benefits, then call now for this free booklet on Humana's newly enhanced benefits at 1-800-842-8007.
Hey, I'm Ted.
When I was living the single life in New York City, life was good. I had my friends, Marshall and Lily, and my pal, Barney.
I suggest we play a little game I like to call, Have you met Ted?
What? No.
Hi, have you met Ted?
Then I met the one girl who would change everything.
The real thing.
Did you kiss her? I want our first kiss to be amazing.
That is so sweet. So you chickened up.
How did it all turn out? Not exactly the way I planned.
Jerk!
How I Met Your Mother premieres CBS Monday, September 19th.
We are getting new video in from storm-ravaged Mississippi into the news desk. Yusila Ramirez now with that. Yusila.
Well, our sister station in Dallas has just returned from the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. Earlier at the top of the show, we showed you what it looks like there today, but here are some more images. You can see this bridge here, missing sections of that causeway, obviously not drivable at this point. Also video of homes shredded to pieces, boats and cars turned upside down, turned over, roofs ripped apart, and some other homes still standing. The water has receded some, but it is still a mess, as you can see right here. All of this new images coming in from the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. You can see in some of the shots what look like emergency vehicles making their way through, no doubt probably looking for any survivors, but as you can see, that is no easy task. Again, these pictures coming in from the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, and of course we'll be monitoring all this video as it comes in. But for right now, that is the very latest from the breaking news desk. Yusila Ramirez, CBS 4 News.
And that's going to do it for CBS 4 News at noon. Thanks for watching.
We're going to leave you with the Young and the Restless in progress. Have a great day.
Bye-bye. After the break.